Hi, this is Andrea Schulman again, and I recently got another question from a viewer. This has a lot to do with current events. Here's the question. I'd love to watch a video of you discussing mental health issues in a more in-depth way. I assume that you've heard of the recent passing away of Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain due to suicide. And this leaves people, including me, wondering why someone who has the quote-unquote perfect life would take their own lives. And I think this is a really great question, and so I do want to answer it in today's quick video. But first, if you're watching this video on YouTube or on my website, please make sure to subscribe because I do put out new videos every week. Also, if you're watching this video on YouTube or Facebook, please make sure to turn on your notifications so that you see these videos when they come out. Anyways, let's go ahead and discuss this question of why somebody who has the perfect life may choose to end theirs. All right, so this is a very sad question, but it's a question that I think a lot of people are wondering. And when we see things like this that happen, it often is a bit of a shock to the collective, and it causes us to dwell on this question of why would somebody with the perfect life choose to end their life? And it's hard to say specifically what was going on with either of these two individuals because a number of factors could be going on. But the underlying question is an important one for us to address and to analyze. Now, here's something to understand about somebody who chooses to take his or her own life. I would assume most people would assume that somebody in that position most likely would be suffering from depression. They would be feeling a lot of pain, all right? Speaking in terms of vibration, we're talking about a person who, for whatever reason, has found themselves in a very low state of vibration. Now, this is something important to understand, which is basically what causes us to be in a high vibration versus a low vibration. And so to point this out real quick, when you're in a high state of vibration, what that really means is that you feel very, very connected. You feel connected to all of creation. You feel like you're connected to other people. You feel like you're connected to the universe or to God or to however you want to put it. And notice that when you're feeling really happy, you just feel like you're really embedded with everything. You're very connected. You're tuned into all of it. It's this feeling of love and being a part of what's going on. By contrast, when we feel not so good, when our vibration starts to dip, all that really means is we're starting to feel disconnected. We're starting to feel separate. And the more separate we feel from all that is, the worse that we feel. So somebody who is in a very low depression, at its essence, what that means is that person feels very disconnected from everything. They do not feel like they're a part of what's going on here. Rather, they feel that they are separate from everything that's going on. Now, when this ties into the idea of having the perfect life, now again, I can't speak on either of these two individuals' individual experience. But what I can say is that for many people, what they do over time is they start to buy into the belief that their happiness is outside of them. That if they can just get the perfect business or the perfect body or whatever, that they will be able to claim happiness, that they'll be able to claim that higher vibration where they feel connected. But see, this doesn't work. Because if we're of the belief structure that we need to gain accolades or gain followers or gain intelligence or gain the perfect spouse or whatever it is, if we're of that belief structure that we somehow need to get something in order to be in that higher resonance, in order to feel connected, it just won't work. Because at its essence, what we're saying is the happiness is outside of me. I must achieve it. I must work for it. I must gain it. And so sometimes this happens, and you may have seen this happening in your own life. I know that I've seen it for myself, is that when you buy into this belief that you need to accomplish things in order to be happy, it starts to wear you down. Because you start to see over time that, okay, I wanted this and I got it and I was happy for a second and then I wasn't happy anymore. Or I wanted this and I got it, but it really didn't make me feel as good as I thought it was going to make me feel. Because really, that's not how happiness is achieved. Happiness isn't achieved by obtaining the perfect life. All right, it's just not, that's not the way that it's done. And if somebody's traveling through life of the perspective that they somehow need to gain things or accomplish a certain degree of whatever it is in order to find happiness, then they're never really going to find the happiness. Now, I can't say again for certain that that's what was going on with either of these two individuals, but when it comes to the context of the question of why would somebody with the perfect life choose to end their life, the question may indicate the answer, which is that trying to obtain the perfect life keeps you in this endless loop where you're always reaching outside of yourself for things rather than simply recognizing that you are connected, that you are a part of everything, that everything is you and you are all of it. And so this is the important thing I think to understand, which is that you really have to resonate in that area of knowing that you are part of what's going on. Because when you're of the belief structure that it's outside of you, you feel separate from all that is. When you feel separate from all that is, you feel worse and worse and worse and worse. I really do like this question because it's one of the main reasons why I do what it is that I do today, because while I never did take my life, there was definitely a period in time in my life where I thought about committing suicide quite a bit because I was in an extreme state of pain, an extreme state of depression. And what turned things around for me was starting to understand that it wasn't the stuff out there that was driving my happiness. It's rather what I'm choosing to focus on within myself, that heaven and happiness and all of that exist within you. It doesn't exist in the career. It doesn't exist in the money. It doesn't exist in any of that. All of that stuff are just outer manifestations. Really understanding how to be happy is about understanding that happiness is in you. It's not outside of yourself. And if somebody doesn't understand that, they're going to suffer. I really hope that you've enjoyed today's video. Please focus on that idea, because a lot of times with the law of attraction, that's what they're doing, is they're trying to find a way to get to things, to prove to themselves that they can be happy. But all that's doing is it's keeping them stuck in a loop where they believe that they're disconnected and they somehow have to get something that's outside of themselves. Really, when we're talking about living the kind of life that you really want to live, it's not about collecting all of these things outside of yourself. That's not what it's about. Rather, it's about stepping into the resonance and the knowing and the total understanding that you are everything and everything is you. And as long as we reach outside of ourselves to be happy, we don't really contain that knowing. So while you're doing this work with the law of attraction, remember all that really matters is that you get grounded in the understanding that your happiness is within you. It's within you. It's not outside of yourself. Because once you understand that, you can just tap into your happiness. And when you tap into your happiness, you don't feel separate from everything else. And as the cherry on top, good things happen. But they happen as a result of you being connected. Okay, so I do love this question. I mean, it's a very sad question, but I think it's a very important question to contemplate, is that, a lot of people are looking outside of themselves for happiness. As long as you're doing that, happiness will elude you. And if it eludes you for too long, it can definitely send you into a place of despair. But again, thanks so much for watching this video. And of course, make sure to have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.